very long time ago, I was obsessed with internal combustion cars. I mean, petrol cars, twin turbos, superchargers. I spent ridiculous amounts of money hotting up my cars. And then all of a sudden, for me, the world changed. Things didn't change much in the internal combustion industry. In fact, the progress was so slow. I was hearing things like this. Volkswagen Group just spent $1.3 billion on brand new engines, and they improved their efficiency by 1%. 1%. Of course, that 1% improvement in efficiency came with its own problems, such as things like clogging fuel filters because of stop-start technology, etc., etc. Boring, boring, boring. And then I started discovering people like Sandy Munro. And I started discovering that actually the automotive industry was not boring at all. I just wasn't looking in the right places. Right now, Western legacy automakers are scrambling. They are blaming their massive losses on high battery costs, weak consumer demand, or a lack of government subsidies. There's lots of blame being thrown around. They're not at fault. Everyone else is. But teardown legend Sandy Munro just cut through all the corporate spin, I call it corporate bullshit, with to be honest, a brutal reality check. Appearing on the Fully Charged show, Sandy laid out exactly why China is completely running away with the electric vehicle race. Now, if you didn't know that already, that was the reason I started this channel, to warn legacy automakers. I guess it didn't really work, did it? But 5 years ago, I was sort of alone there. And I was saying, guys, the Chinese, there's this company called BYD. There's other companies in China. Xpeng, you've never heard of them, but and you hadn't then. But I was saying they're coming. And this isn't just because of cheap labor or software. It is because of a deep systemic crisis that the West has ignored for 30 years. The catastrophic death of physical engineering, talent, and domestic manufacturing. As Sandy bluntly puts it, if you give away manufacturing, you've given away the farm. On the Electric Viking website, I'll put a link in the description below. We have more articles about electric cars and battery technology than any other website that I'm aware of in the world. So check that out. Link is in the description. And there you'll find our videos and analysis and articles about everything going on in the EV world. Today, I want to break down the hard truth about the Western talent deficit, the arrogance of outsourcing, and what it actually takes to build a modern EV. For decades, the prevailing wisdom in Western business schools was simple. Physical manufacturing is low margin, dirty work. You don't want to do that. The smart move was to keep the high-level design, branding, and finance in Detroit or Europe, and outsource the actual building of the products to Asia. Now, if you didn't know this, well, quite often when these legacy car companies build a vehicle, not always, but quite often, they essentially select from a parts catalog and sort of assemble the cars that way. Not everything, but a lot of it came that way. Western OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, thought they could just draw a pretty picture of a car, send the blueprint across the ocean, and cash the checks. Now, that's very generalized, of course, not all of them, but in many instances, that's what's happened. But as Sandy Munro points out, this completely misunderstands how engineering works. When you outsource the physical building of a product, you don't just lose the factory jobs. You lose the entire feedback loop of innovation. You lose the vertical supply chains. The people doing the actual manufacturing are the ones who figure out how to optimize the parts, how to cut out complexity, and how to drive down costs exponentially. That's the key phrase here, driving down costs exponentially. While Western car companies were busy optimizing their balance sheets and buying back stock, Asian manufacturers were busy optimizing physical reality. Sometimes it didn't work, to be honest. Sometimes it was fucking terrible. Sometimes it still is with their software. But it has been improving so fast because they integrated everything vertically, from raw material processing to finished battery cells. Now, legacy auto, much of it, not all, but much of it, is trapped. They are trying to buy their way back into a game where, in some instances, they no longer own the pieces. Now, this brings us to Sandy Munro's most critical warning. The West has an absolute emergency when it comes to foundational trades and manufacturing talent. And this is true, guys. Go to almost any school these days, not all of them, but most of them. And are people being encouraged to get into manufacturing, to be engineers? Not really. Not really. It's not really a thing anymore. It's more like, hey, be a banker, start your own online business, create software, learn to code. Yeah? Think about what it takes to actually launch a new vehicle. You need tool makers, you need die makers, machinists, and manufacturing engineers who understand the physics of stamping steel, casting aluminium, and assembling complex battery modules. In the West, we spent a generation telling every single kid that they needed to get a university degree and sit behind a desk. We stigmatized the trades. Let's be honest, women, when you tell them you're a tradesperson, a lot of them are like, yeah, not so interested. The result, the average age of a toolmaker in the West is now well into the 50s or 60s. We aren't replacing them. When a legacy automaker wants to set up a new production line or fix a massive tooling error on a factory floor, they literally cannot find the domestic talent to do it efficiently. And Ford is complaining about this all the time. So are other companies. I just did a consultation with someone who is a toolmaker in Melbourne, in Australia. He owns his own company. It's very profitable. And when I say toolmaker, he still uses machines to do this, by the way. This is not just some dude sitting in the back of some kind of agricultural place just hammering away. It doesn't work like that. Now, he wants to sell this business, but nobody wants to buy it, even though it is profitable, even though this business has a future. Contrast that with China. Over the last 2 decades, they have produced an absolute army of physical engineering talent. They have millions of young, brilliant engineers who are excited to spend their days on a factory floor, optimizing tool and die setups or refining automation loops. Maybe not excited, but they're driven. You cannot bridge a massive structural gap like that with a software update. If you don't have the people who know how to manipulate metal and molecules, you just can't build cars at scale. Now, it's not just about building the car the first time either. It's about controlling the entire life cycle. Sandy highlighted the staggering gap in vertical integration and battery circularity. China already controls over 70% of the world's lithium refining, 85% of anode production, and the vast majority of the battery cell manufacturing capacity. But they are also rapidly locking down the closed-loop recycling side. Sandy did give a strong nod to Western companies trying to fight back here, specifically mentioning Redwood Materials and the incredible work that J.B. Straubel, formerly from Tesla, is doing to build a domestic battery recycling ecosystem. Circularity, taking old EV packs, packing them down to the raw cathode and anode materials and putting them right back into new cars, is the only way the West can break the resource dependency. And by the way, that means we don't have to mine anymore either as well. But here is the catch. To have a thriving recycling ecosystem, you first need a massive, hyper-efficient domestic manufacturing base generating the scrap and the volume to feed it. You can't just recycle your way out of a talent shortage. So the bottom line is this: the Western auto industry got trapped by its own arrogance, its own complacence. It's sort of like the Roman Empire in a way. They thought manufacturing was a commodity you could just buy off the shelf. Now they're realizing that the ability to actually make things is the ultimate competitive advantage. Startups like Tilo Trucks, which Sandy has praised for their clean sheet, space-efficient engineering, show that the West might still have the spark of brilliant design. But scaling those ideas into millions of affordable units requires an industrial foundation that has been severely eroded. Fixing this isn't just about throwing billions of dollars in government subsidies at factories. It requires a profound cultural shift. We have to start valuing the people who build physical things again. We can't look down on that. Because if we don't fix the talent deficit, the EV transition won't just be won by China, it will be dictated by them. And that's not a good thing. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is Sandy Munro right? Has the West given away the farm for good? Or can we rebuild the industrial base before it's all too late? Thanks for watching. My name is Sam Evans, the Electric Viking, and I'll catch you on the next one. Please like the video and share it with someone because that helps the channel, helps get the message out there. Bye-bye. Thinking about getting solar, a home battery, or an EV charger? Check out Australia's best free comparison tool because it could save you a lot of money. Guys, click on the link below in the description and you can see how much you can save. Alternatively, give Resync a call. They are the guys who installed my battery and my home solar. I'll put a link to them as well in the description. Need expert advice on what car to buy, what solar system to get, what home battery to get, or potentially for your business? You can get, guys, a one-on-one consultation directly with me, 60 minutes of tailored guidance. This might help you avoid making a huge mistake spending money when you shouldn't, or potentially save you a massive amount of money. Click the link in the description below because I can assist you, and why not? The link is in the description.